Alright, so I was trying to start a live video while I was driving, but I think because I was coming through too many areas that just didn't have a good connection, that it was stopping and pausing. Alright, so I'm gonna do a quick video, and then I have to get back on the road. Peace and war. And Nikki Love. But for everybody who's gonna see this later, I did a live video earlier today, right, where we were looking at a butterfly, for those who caught that, and we were just trying to discern the message of the butterfly. And while doing that, an individual came over, and struck up a conversation, and we built from there. And I was able to read some of the Agba Akto Anwar. I was able to read some of the comments because I actually was there with that individual a long time after the live ended, and actually really threw my schedule off by about 3 hours, but it's okay. But like I said, I was able to peep some of the comments that people had left while the conversation was going on with myself and the guy. His name was Josh, by the way. And some caught what was going on, and some didn't. So I have to give it to if Dietrich or Obadina, if you see this video, good job. He was kind of narrating, as I was talking to the guy, and he kind of was able to peep what I was doing and what was being said, and the teachable moments in there. And I'm not going to repeat them because you should be able to pick up on them. All right? But just looking at some of the comments, man, sometimes people who think they're healers are not really healers. They don't understand that a healer is going to channel healing whenever they're called and commissioned to do so. It's not an indiscriminate thing where you discern, or you make the decision as to who deserves it and who doesn't deserve it. Because ultimately, when you're doing this work, at some point you have to ask yourself if you even deserved to be the benefactor of the wisdom that's allowing you to do the things that you do and speak to the people that you're speaking to, and so forth and so on. And 9 times out of 10, there's nothing special about you. There's nothing so special, so great about you that you could say, well, this is the reason why this particular gift was shared with me, or this particular knowing was shared with me, or this particular wisdom was shared with me. It's very rare that you'll be able to really look at yourself, at least look at yourself honestly, and say, this is why I've been made a priest or a priestess, or, just put in a position to help people. So ultimately, what you do, if you're doing it right, peace, Antonio, what you're doing, if you're doing it right, it moves with spirit, and you move with spirit. You don't move via your ego. So one of the things that I noticed the comments people were making with that last video, and nothing was staged, as you can see. I'm on the road. I'm doing some spiritual work. So I'm just, moving. I'm moving. And while on the road, I had to pull over and do a client call. Because often in the work that I do, like, I'm not really as stationary. So when I do phone consultations and stuff, a lot of times they happen at rest stops and on the road or wherever. It's not necessary. I don't always get to work out of my shrine, which is fine. A priest is supposed to travel. A priest is supposed to take the act in the robe. Hey, y'all, tell me something. Is my audio really off sync with my video? I notice every time I do a Facebook Live, like the sync is ridiculous. Let me know that. And if you don't let me know right away, then I guess I'll have my answer. But oh, that's a big child. Ooh. Wow. Carrying a McDonald's milkshake. That father needs to be punched in his stomach. Let your son get that big. Waddling with a McDonald's milkshake. Good googly moogly. Alright. So anyway. What was I saying for a little butterball walk by? So yeah, man, you know, a lot of times people try to make a decision as to peace, bro, as to who deserves the information and who doesn't deserve the information, who deserves the healing, who doesn't deserve the healing. But a real healer doesn't hold the healing inside of them anyway, man. So you can choose to try to create a blockage in healing, but you know, it's kind of like if I lived on a town, if I was blessed to live on a town that was on the water, and people came to drink water, all people, you know, all ethnic groups, all kind of people, all creeds, all races, and I say, okay, well, these people can get water, but these people can't get water. But ultimately, the water doesn't originate where I'm at. The water's coming from further upstream. But I decide when and where I'm going to block the water off. And then now, eventually what happens is the deities of upstream say, you know what? We're going to divert it from where you live. We're going to send it somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't yours to decide when it should be meted out. And I have to say, you know, people who are still stuck in thinking that every white person or every black person, which there's no such thing, but I'll play with the words. But every white person and every black person speaks for the consciousness of their group. If you think that, you're an idiot. No, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so cold. If you think that, you got some studying to do. Let's just say that. For instance, if you know you're quote unquote conscious, quote unquote, and I say quote unquote because most people think they're conscious, really are conscious, but they're not aware of what they are. But if you're consciously aware and culturally invested and spiritually sane, can you really say that you speak for the whole consciousness of your people? Or can the masses, or do the masses reflect that same mindset? If not, then perhaps you're a part of a different group. And the same could be said for each group. I don't think one Asian person can speak for all Asians. One European can't speak for all Europeans. You know, we can go on down the list. But, you know, it's neither here nor there. I'm just noticing some of the statements that are being made. And when you see me get down, when you see me interacting with people, when you see me speaking, whatever you see me do, understand that you're being shown it so you can learn something. If you think that I'm trying to say this in a way where it doesn't sound arrogant, but let's just say your teacher typically knows more than you. Alright, even if I'm not your teacher, I am a teacher. And if you're not a teacher, as it regards to the things that we've invested ourselves in, there's a possibility I may see and know more than you. So don't expect to have your opinions validated in everything you see me do. The reality is, I'm supposed to be looking for that in my subordinates. If I'm teaching and I'm giving and I'm sharing, I'm supposed to be looking for that truth reflected in you, not the truth that's inside of you reflected in me. Because I'm moving on a different frequency. And whenever I come to teach, I lower my frequency. For instance, if you look at that live that I did with the young man, he was saying some things that I didn't agree with, but I lowered my frequency and to allow him that moment to express himself, to allow him that moment to release. Like he was saying, well, all people can be racist, white or black. You know, I've seen it, and sometimes I was treated bad as a white guy growing up in southeast Atlanta. I don't agree with that perspective, but I was like, okay, you know, sure. He was like, you know, and a woman's got to be independent. She can't, you know, expect her man to keep her up. I don't agree with that one either, but okay. So those are moments when I lower my vibration to allow a consistency of conversation and a consistency of exchange, man. You know, it's not always about, you gotta know when to fall back. You gotta know when to stand down when it's more profitable to fall back. You know, based on what it is that you're trying to do in the moment, based on what you're trying to share. You gotta really know when it's best to kind of go quiet a little bit, things like that, man. You know, so yeah, I just wanted to say there was a lot of teaching moments in that video, and from looking at the comments, a few caught it, many didn't catch it, you know, but a few caught it. And when you're a priest and you're doing the healing work, I mean a real priest, not, I don't want to get down and dirty right now. But there's a lot of phoniness out here, man. There's a lot of broken people who are posturing themselves as something that they could never even be because it's not even in their blood. Just fake, whack teachers. They're just as stupid and just as locked into their own ego and their emotions as the people who they say they're supposedly helping. But they're really not helping. They're really just perpetuating more emotional tantrums and rants and immaturity. So when you're really digging into the information and when you're really honestly sharing from the heart and sharing from the center, you never know who's going to share with you, and you never know who you're going to share with. For instance, in that particular moment with that young man, he shared information about KLLM trucking. And I said it out loud over and over again a couple of times, not for my benefit. I have no interest in being a truck driver. It was for all of you listening. He was giving up game. And I even whispered it into the camera at one point. I was like, yo, he's dropping a lot of game. This some people was calling him a hillbilly. He might have been a hillbilly. He was definitely a little bit of a redneck, you know. But he was like, yeah, man, you know, by the time I pay for my gas and I pay for my car payment, my truck payment is $900 a month. He said, I'm clearing about $2,000 a week. And then I have another truck that I lease out to the company I work for, and I make about $4,000 a week on that one. He was dropping a lot of game. But if I was stuck in, and I didn't need the game, it wasn't for me. I'm not driving on trucks, you know. But me sitting there and lowering my vibration to listen to things that I may have disagreed with and whatever, now created an opportunity for whoever was listening to get some information, you know. So I already taught what authenticity means. Go listen to the show that I did on my aunt. I see the question there. I did a show on my aunt. I broke it down. Authenticity. Okay. But yeah, man, sometimes you gotta learn how to diversify your frequency in order to get the things that you need, man. And that was a great example of that. And plus, that guy really needed healing. One thing, I don't know if some of you it's a skinny dude back here, skinny white dude back here, a bunch of jailhouse tattoos and teardrops under his eye. I'm sure he just trying to get through his day. Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, so one of the important things, man, when you're learning and you're teaching and you're sharing, is you never know when it's going to flow through, man. You don't create blockages. You don't create dams and roadblocks because you don't like who may need the sharing or who may need the hearing. That's not really up to you, man. And if you really have a heart for the people, you're not even going to look at who you're talking to, at least not externally. You're going to feel their energy. The dude came over, he was respectful, he was cool, and he was hurt. He was hurt. I could feel it as he walked in, and he kept getting closer to me. The more he talked, he kept coming in because he was trying to get some of that energy off of me. He was hurting, man. He said his friend committed suicide 2 weeks ago, and then his close friend, his black friend, he says, his best friend growing up was black, a guy named Cortez. He kept saying, yeah, Cortez. They were in a car accident together, and Cortez died. And he said that the mother blamed him for it and stuff like that. Then his niece, who he said was mixed, just got pregnant. And got pregnant by a black man. And the family already doesn't really rock with her because she's mixed. And his father just had a stroke last month. His father can't talk anymore. He can barely see and he can barely move. So he's got a father that's hemmed up. His little niece that nobody really rocks with because she's mixed just got pregnant, and the father he told me, he said the father killed 2 cops in a bank robbery. So he ain't never coming home. And I hate to say it like that, but he'll be away for a long time. And then what was the third thing? Oh, and his best friend just killed himself. So So I'm by the waterside. We're talking about the butterflies and stuff like that. He comes over, and I felt all of that. I felt the heaviness on him. And I was so, hey, get away from me, you hillbilly. That's not real, man. And the only reason I'm even talking about it is because it was recorded. I have experienced like that, honestly. You wouldn't believe this, but I have to tell you, honestly, practically every day. Every single day. It would shock you. Everywhere I go. People start. I was in a store recently. What was I getting? I was getting something small. Glue. I was getting some glue. And a guy was working, I guess he was stocking the back. And it was like a little Dollar General store or something like that. And, he just said, I said, hey, how you doing? Da-da-da-da. Asked him where the glue was. He took me over to the glue. And he said something about, because I asked another person where the glue was. It was a young guy. And he was like, these young kids don't know the store. And I was like, yeah. I said, some things young people do really well if they're trained. They just need to be trained. And when I said that, let me just say this. Within 4 minutes, he was bawling like a baby. Talking about he misses his daughter. He just got a divorce. And the wife won't let him see his daughter. And all his friends are telling him he needs to just get over it. And the daughter's not going to forgive him. But he's just like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I'm too old for this to happen. I'm 46 years old. And I feel like I got to start over. And she just threw me away like I'm garbage to go be with somebody else. And I miss my daughter. Boom, 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 boom. Within 10 minutes, I was giving him a hug in the middle of Dollar General. That's the priest's work, man. It's not always about getting on YouTube with a bunch of beads and all white on and a horse whisk, and shining up my lekes and I'm Baba's. It's not about that, man. It's about being responsible. And responsible is being able to respond. Can you respond to what's going on in the moment? Are you prepared to respond to what's going on in the moment? And sometimes that's just listening. Are you ready to listen? And not insert your own personal feelings about what it is that you're hearing, or any preconceived notions that you may have about the person sharing the information with you. You have to be able to listen, respond with ability, be a responsible listener, be a conscientious listener, and give what's needed in the moment. That's healing. And if more people knew that's what it really was, and not this fake stuff that people are selling to you online, they wouldn't want to be healers. I just got thrown off my schedule by 3 hours. Okay, talking to that guy. The live ran out. We started talking about motorcycles, and then it went from motorcycles back to his niece, and this and that, and we were all over the place, man. Then he was telling me more about his father and about why I was like, and then when we were leaving, I was like, listen, well, I guess I'll see you in New York. If you ever drive up, give me a call. He was like, man, I ain't going back to New York, man. I ain't going to New York no more. He said, I gotta go home. My dad. And then he had given me more information about his father. He's like, yeah, my father can't work anymore. He can't this and then he can't that, man. And I gotta be home. So it's like a lot of times there's no time. This work doesn't really work on the grid. When you really out here mashing, spiritually mashing and putting that work in, you're gonna recognize that there's no time grid. Peace, brother. The way things work, man, it's like you gotta be able to show up and be present. And then whatever happens from there, you go with the spiritual flow. And you may be ministering to people who, like when he first walked over, I was like, man, what is this? Because dude, yeah, he did look like a mountain man, hillbilly, maybe neo-Nazi type, what's up, boy? And no, I didn't forget about y'all. I saw what you wrote on the last live. Hurt my feelings. I didn't forget about y'all. Little jackhammer. But yeah, hey boy. But I guess I can't call you boy no more. You're 18. You're still a boy. Boy. I don't care how old you get. But yeah, a lot of times, man, you just gotta show up, man. Right, Antonio, listening with compassion is so underrated. Exactly, man. Like, it's not that hard, man. Just get yourself out of the way, push your own thing out of the way. And sometimes we're so empty inside, man, that when those opportunities for communication come, we can't listen because we got so much we're trying to get off of our chest. If you notice, if you listen to the live, a lot of times when I was even exchanging with him, he was cutting me off. He wasn't really listening, so I just got quiet because I knew he needed that time to get that off. He's on the road, and here's the thing to think about, man. Right, Anwar, you don't have to Darth Yuya jokes. Exactly. No, you know why I got my hood on? I'm telling you, y'all don't know my life. I had to pull over. I'm sitting in the parking lot. I'm telling you, if I sat here and just did this video and somebody saw me, they're going to come over and start talking to me. And I'm telling you. I mean, I'm in the back of the woods looking at a butterfly by the water and then end up in a 3-hour conversation. So sometimes I got to go incognito. I got to do the Sith Lord thing. I'm telling you. But, yeah, man, like you said, Anwar, the interesting thing is you didn't have to throw the opele to minister. Exactly. You don't have to always... Everybody thinks, like, if I don't pull out my divination tools that I'm not doing a reading or I'm not healing. And they don't understand that when you're living on character and you're living on conviction, your very presence is healing. And some of my clients can attest to that. They'll tell you, when as soon as I got off the phone with you, stuff started getting better. I got a phone call or this happened. I started feeling better. I stopped throwing up. I stopped being sick because I'm bringing healing with me because I'm living on conviction because I'm filled with that conviction, man. So it's and you get filled and you stay filled by being able to be authentic to moments like what you just witnessed, man. Peace, Mr. Johnson. That's my man right there. But yeah, man, a lot of people don't understand, man. Your value is just being authentic and showing up and being able to spot energy. Forget about the outer shell, man. That's a level. I saw, like I said, I saw some of the comments, and it was like, oh, he doing this, and he's a racist, and this and that. That's not what I picked up from him. That's not what I picked up from him. And I'm not going to make those preconceived notions just because he's a European. Now, because he's a European, there are certain preconceived notions that I do have about him, but racist is not one of them. Just like when I see an African, I have certain preconceived notions about an African. I got certain preconceived notions about a Dominican. I got a certain preconceived notions about a Trinidadian. About an Arab. I got preconceived or previously explored, conceived through experience and history about almost every ethnic group that I know about. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to do what I'm here to do. If you're here doing this work, man, and you're a part of this grand movement and you're a part of the great work, what you're here to do, man, is to leave a character glyph. Baby, where you going? Don't hit my car. All right. You're here to leave a character glyph on the planet, man. You ain't here to just... If you're not giving it freely, because you got to look at it like this. When some of you came into your awareness and your knowing, you were straight up morons. You were straight up imbeciles. You were idiots. You were jerk-offs. Douchebags. Ball guzzlers. I'm joking. But my point that I'm making is that the universe still gave to you. The universe didn't say, yo, go get your shite together, then come back, then I'm going to teach you about the mysteries. It said, no, I'm going to teach you about the mysteries, and you're going to use that to get yourself together. So, if the universe created, and the conception of the universe was created in your mind and all things are mental, then that means we're a model of how the universe operates. The universe is a model of how we operate. It's the law of correspondence. So who are you now to break the cycle and be like, yo, I'm going to give to here, I'm not going to give to that? Who are you to do that? Get the F out of here. And those who do that don't have anything to give anyway. They got that weak ASS information. You know what my documentary, All Whores Go to Heaven? We were talking the other day, we were having a little powwow about it. And some of the people that we already interviewed, I'm cutting. I'm cutting them. Because I was like, you know what? See, now we're going to get into something else. Some of these hoes ain't really hoes. They're perpetrating a fraud. Because I've had some sisters, I'm so excited, whoop, whoop, whoop. I want to be a part of this, da 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 da. And then, but can you change the title? Wait a minute, you just said you was talking all this high-powered horn a minute ago, and and I do this and I do that, and I'm boom boom boom, and then all of a sudden, you telling me you want to wear a mask for the documentary because you don't want people to see your face? You want us to change the title? Fuck that. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. So many people, exactly, Anwar, so many people are faking the funk, man. And the people who are faking the funk ain't got nothing to begin with. You ain't no hoe. You know how many I had to call and be like, you ain't no hoe. You a prostitute. Get out of here. You a mother effing sex worker. You ain't no hoe. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I know I'm going off on this, but so what, man? There's only 9 of you on here anyway. Everybody's driving home from work. But that was my thing. And it's the same thing when it comes to spiritual work, man. There's so many phonies, man. When you start into some real conversation, it's so short, they can't go anywhere with you. Or like an opportunity like that to help that young man. I don't care if he's European. I don't care if he's a red, because he was... he was a redneck. He was spitting on the water spitting on the fish every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? That usual redneck stuff. You know what I'm saying? So what? Here's the other deeper thing. I mean, what does it say? And Khalil Gibran said, how mean am I when God gives me gold and I give you silver and call myself kind? Exactly. Anwar said, just by the last statement brings so much truth about the documentary. Yeah. It ain't a documentary about sex workers and prostitutes. It ain't about that. You know what I mean? Just because you can sell some tail, man, don't make you a hoe. A square chick sells tail. You know what I mean? That ain't nothing. Square chick got kids to feed, and she'll say, dude would be like, boom, 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 I buy your groceries, you got to give me some. A square chick can flat back. Anybody can flat back. Ain't no science to flat backing. But when a hoe is able to really use her mouthpiece and really express and reflect the light of a man, and use that light to navigate and lift herself up through the world and lift her entire family up through the world, it takes a certain type of blood in you to be able to do stuff like this. It takes a certain type of brain to be able to do that, man. And a lot of these people who call themselves hoes, they know they don't have that in them. They don't have that much love in them. You know how much love it takes to be a good whore? You know how much love it takes to be a good whore? A lot of chicks become sex workers and prostitutes because they mad at men. Somebody hurt them, and understandably, and they want revenge, so they figure they can do this now to get some power over men. Okay, go ahead, do what you're doing. All right, but this ain't about all sex workers go to heaven. It's all whores go to heaven. But anyway, man, yeah, like I said, man, my man, he was cool. My man Josh, he's a cool dude. Redneck self. Yeah, man, because I'm racing. We was talking about racing bikes and stuff because I used to race. And he was like, yeah, man, I was going head to head with a Mustang, man. I tear his ass up, man. Give me my $500. Give my $500 because we bet $500. He was able to go through many different chambers, man, and relieve himself. That's what he needed, man. We sat by that water the whole time. He didn't light up a cigarette, none of that stuff. He said, yeah, I'm on my break right now. I'm supposed to be resting, man. I'm actually late, too. But he was enjoying the conversation, man. And the other thing about it, there's always 20 or 25 things going on at one time. You know how much game I was giving y'all if you were really listening? Dietrich caught it. You're getting good, Dietrich. Dietrich's not on this live, but he might see it later. You're getting good. I was surprised he caught as much as he did. And Ken 171 was catching it. Kim Shay was catching it. She was catching it too. Kim Shay. I was dropping game, man, and it was a teachable moment. But you got to know how to listen in between. Some people were like, "Oh, we was talking about the butterfly. Now he talking to this guy." We were still talking about the butterfly. Y'all just didn't get it. And then he was giving me game. He was like telling me about the fish. Remember, he was like, "Yeah, the blue-tailed fish, the bluegill fish. Excuse me." The bluegill fish in here, but when you pull them out, they're yellow, blue, yellow. Remember what we were talking about before on the butterfly? The blue and the orange, and right? So we were right there. You gotta be able to. You gotta. You gotta know when the ritual is happening. Like I told you guys, life is the magic ritual. You gotta know when the ritual is happening. That used to happen so many times on the live calling show. People will call in. And people would be like, oh, Chief got thrown off by this caller, and now we're talking about something totally different. You think anybody could throw me off? Seriously. I wasn't thrown off. I'm going down different chambers to give you different teachable moments so that you get it from a different voice. That's all. Yeah, you gotta be able to kind of pick up on the nuances, because like they say that the devil is in the details. The power is in the details of the nuances. Even when you're doing ritual, a lot of times it's no big flash of light that goes off and says this is gonna work. Sometimes it's a very small thing. It's wind that comes into a room, or the way a candle flickers, or the way that you might be burning incense and you were burning camphor, but then all of a sudden, it starts to smell like frankincense or sandalwood, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not burning any sandalwood or frankincense. It's the little small nuances that let you know what's going on, man. So you gotta be able to click into this. You gotta check out his Osayin level. Yeah, he was breaking down some nature stuff, exactly. So. Yeah, man, y'all gotta be able to. Not y'all. I don't want to just make it seem like I'm, trying to correct a bunch of people. I'm saying in general, man. I'm just, just in general, man. If you're gonna help people, man, and get beyond all that. I don't know. So I'm just tired of it. It's keeping us dumb as a people. I'm not deifying white people. You can't give me enough money to do that. So every European man I see, I'm not gonna say, yeah, the white man. Remember, the is a definitive divine article. As soon as you say the something, you deify it. And it's hard to touch things that are deified. It's hard to understand things that are deified. Like when you say the devil. As soon as you say the devil, confusion enters the room. You deify a concept that's not even that old. Now you confuse. And then if I say, well, what's the devil? Everybody's going to have a different answer. If you just said a devil, we could get to the bottom line a little better. So I'm not deifying concepts and things like that don't need to be deified. I'll deify myself. I'll say the Chief Yuya. I'll say the Yuya, the Asan Anu family. I'll do that all day. But to just take this blanket stroke, that white guy don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's a part of the Illuminati. He don't know nothing. He's just trying to figure out how to take care of his little mixed niece, his half black niece, without alienating so much of his family, and keep his businesses running and take care of his dying father. And that's the other piece, man. When people are like, yeah, he over there, da-da-da-da-da. Yo, would y'all consider his niece black? Because she's half black? Most of you would. So, if you have a black child inside of a white family that doesn't rock with her, and there's one family member that does rock with her, he said, like, I bought her first car, everything. There's one family member that does rock with her. Is that the one that you want to get some instruction? Is that the one that you would want to get some guidance from someone like me? Especially considering, hey, boy, what you doing? Yeah. Considering that he's mixed, and no, I'm sorry, he's not mixed. She's mixed, and the baby she's having is quote unquote mixed. What's going on, boy? I'm just over here Rick Rossing it. Know what I'm saying? I know that grass better be cut when I get back. But yeah, man. What was I saying? So yeah, man, you got these, you know what I'm saying? I am the hood. I bring the hood with me, boy. I bring the hood with me. You know what I mean? Been done on Sunday. Okay. Alright. I feel you. Because I'm going to know if you did it today at the last minute. I'm going to be able to smell the fresh clippings. Anwar says, I've been through a few enlightenment and transformation segments, and all the ads are white, quote unquote. People spreading information that the constitution has been breaking down for years. Expound on that, Anwar, please. But yeah, man, you gotta help when you're called to help, man. Like I said, this dude's got a niece that's mixed. He rocks with the niece. Yeah, he's a, I don't even want to call him a hillbilly. I ain't gonna diss him like that. I mean, he's a cool dude. He was good. You know what I mean? But he's carrying a lot on his shoulders. That's why he's got to do all that work. And then he's got this new baby that's coming. You know what I'm saying? And he's got that gene in him. Because I've had friends like that before. Them white boys who don't know. Like, he's like, yeah, I went down to Watts. I unhooked my trailer and I was in Watts, California. I went to go see my friend. Oh, this white boy gonna get himself killed. He's like, we went to a place called Lucky's. They had steak and shrimp, $9.99. Steak and shrimp. You can't beat that. Like, yeah, okay. You gonna get caught up in a riot. They gonna come after you first, But some white guys are like that. They just like, I don't give a hoot. I want the steak and shrimp. But he's got this mixed niece, and then another mixed niece coming, on the way, even more mixed, if you will. So he's stressed on multiple levels, and at the same time he's a truck driver. That conversation and that releasing that he had might have just saved him from running somebody over today or tomorrow. You know? So yeah, man, y'all gotta sometimes be able to back up and see the bigger picture and get out of your emotions. And if you can't get out of your emotions, shut the F up, because this work ain't for you. This is work for those of us who got a little coldness about us. Because ain't nobody more African than me. Y'all ain't, none of y'all can out African me. I don't care how many RBG wristbands you put on, and how many the black woman is God shirt you wear, and you ain't more African than me. So I ain't even worried about that. You know, I done earned my stripes here and on the continent, man. I done literally slept in dirt holes on the continent. Literally slept in a dirt hole in the ground more than once. You ain't gonna out African me. But at the same time, I'm so African that I'm so secure in my Africanity that I can move around other groups of people and not be afraid that I'm gonna give up something that, you know, is going to destroy me, or that something's going to rub off on me that's going to destroy me. Can't nobody out African me, and can't nobody take the African out of me. You know, I'm an African man, and this wild society that we live in, doing some very African things, multiple women. You know, y'all call it polygamy, but I don't even use that old corny behind Greek term. I don't mess with it. I got family. And I got a bunch of bad broads that rock with me, and beautiful children, and we doing major things. Empire building is African. That's all it is, empire. You know, so when you standing strong and firm on the conviction of all those beautiful and glorious things, then you move through the world like the world's teacher and healers. So many groups are going to come to you. They're going to gravitate towards you, and you're going to civilize them. Even if it's in a 5-minute conversation or a 3-hour conversation, you're going to provide some civilization to them, or some validation for the civilization that they already have inside. Because that dude had a lot of he had a lot of light. He had a lot of light, man. He was like, you know, I just respect people. I want people to respect me, man. That's all, you know. But if you don't, mother effer, I gotta go, you know. But he's trying to live righteously. You see what I'm saying? And he might not be around a lot of people like me that'd be like, yo, you're doing the right thing, man. Keep it up. So being able to get that validation is also important, man. If we so deep and we so powerful and we the this or that and the that, then we got to stand as pillars in the world and be examples of manners, be examples of respect, be examples of healing, examples of spirituality. We got to be examples of all of the pinnacle and the alpha points that exist on the world. And like I always tell you, man, all skin ain't kin. Your skin don't make you kin, Jack. Blood don't even make you kin. Loyalty and integrity makes you kin. That's what makes your family, man. The honor code. Remember I did those videos on the warrior code? You know, that's where your family comes from, man. It doesn't come from we came out of the same vagina or we came out of the same set of balls. Nah, man. Loyalty, Jack. And a lot of times we don't look for that. We don't look for respect. We don't look for value and integrity in people. And we end up wasting a lot of time with BS people. You know, I saw something here. Right, MSGW said, who's going to heal the healer? Sounds like that guy might be holding his family together. He absolutely is, man. You could tell. He wasn't dressed extravagant, but this dude is probably pulling down $3,000-4,000 a week profit. Owns a concrete company. He owns 2 trucks. But he's got a lot of people he's taking care of. He's like, yeah, you know, I know I'm going to have to take care of my niece. I told her I wasn't going to, but he said, but I am. You know, because his niece is coming to move in with him. You know, with no job. And he's like, no, she's going to be a nurse. He was talking about that when we were walking away. I was like, yeah, maybe she can get into truck. And he was like, no, she's going to be a nurse. So he's putting her through nursing school. You know, you can see what it is, man. You know, come on, man. You got to get out of your emotions, man. You can't get anything done like that when you're constantly emotionally reacting, man. You know, you can't get nothing done. Unless they are offering healing services and abundant advice. Yeah, they offer healing services and abundant advice, and they don't know anything and they can't fix anything. They're just emotional, and they just dressed up. That's it. They got the garb on. They smell like essential oils. They can even hold down the talk for a good 20 minutes. Because 20 minutes is the breaking point for every phony. They come in with that, peace and yes and divine blessings and peace and blessings. Give them about 20 minutes and they're going to be talking the same NIGGA stuff that everybody else is. Watch. Start asking about their family and their situations. They're going to be doing the same NIGGA stuff as everybody else, letting you know that they're full of crap. And I know I sound a little turned up, but I'm just sick of these mother. I'm sick of them, man. Because they make my job harder. You know how many people come to me messed up from fools like that? And then when I start giving them the real, they be looking at me like, you harsh. I'm not harsh, idiot. They've been lying to you all your life. Or since you've been in the community. They've been telling you every stupid idea you have is right. So they can keep taking your money. Yeah, you right. Yeah, you right. Yeah, you right. I feel like my family's cursed. It is cursed. And it's going to cost us $1,500 just to start to take the curse off. And then when I come and say, man, your family ain't cursed, Jack. Your culture is cursed. Your culture is cursed, not your family. You got to break the cycle of a backwards culture. That's the curse. And you've inherited it because you've inherited the same culture. So even though you've come into consciousness, you're still talking about how you grew up. That doesn't make sense. How many times I've had conversations like that with clients? They eating the wrong things. That's not really good to eat. That's why you're having problems. Well, I didn't grow up eating like I grew up eating it. Dummy. If you come into consciousness, that means you made a conversion from something that wasn't working for you anymore. You can't now use it as a standard of reference and use it as your excuse to stay addicted to things that don't work for you anymore, and then be talking about we got a family curse. The family curse is your stubbornness. The family curse is your fear of stepping beyond what Massa gave you. That's your family curse. But these fools can't even articulate that. But they can articulate that they want you to give them some money. They want you to get into a little whack behind class where you're going to be sitting rubbing on crystals all goddamn night and rubbing each other down with anointing oil. Take me away. Calgon, take me away, man. I'm tired of this. Yeah, I was just talking about you, Obadina. You have to go back to the beginning of the thread, but I was saying, good job. You caught so much in that last live, and you stepped up. You wouldn't have caught all that much a couple of years ago. You're getting better. You're getting a lot better. But yeah, man. If we out here, if we're gonna do this, let's do it. Let's do the darn thing, and that means that if you're a lighthouse, light is gonna shine indiscriminate of who looks at it, because each person who looks at it is gonna process it through their own perceptual lens. If all of us look at the sun or at the moon, the light stops when it hits your eyeball. It doesn't go through your head, through the back. It stops. Boom. That's where the journey of that light ends. Now, if I'm standing in front of you or you're standing in front of me, the journey of that light ray is going to have different longitudes where it's going to end up at. For some, it's going to end there, then it's going to be there, it's going to be there, then it might be there. But light is going to go as far as where your eye is. So if your eye is back here, that's where the journey ends for that light. If your eye is up there, that's where the journey ends. So, man, it's the same thing. Like, even if I'm talking to that guy like I was, the light that I'm giving is only going to go as far as where his eye is. That's why everybody is so up in a tussy about certain people getting initiated into certain traditions. It doesn't matter who gets initiated, because light is only going to reach as far as where you are. If you're digging deep into ancient tradition and you're really old and you're really back there in the millions of years ago, that's how far that light is going to go. See, my understanding is back there. My understanding is not, my ancestral shrine doesn't have grandma and grandpa just on it. I got ancestral symbols from millions of years ago, not just 100 years ago. That's how far back my thinking is. My thinking is not just futuristic. My thinking is also ancient. It's prehistoric. So that's how far my light is going to go. So you can give whatever you want to anybody because it all depends on how far their perception is, man. Everybody's not going to get the same thing. That's it. So it's fine. But even if they did, who cares, man? It's not yours anyway. You know, come on, man. It ain't yours anyway. You know, all I had to do was listen and give a couple of responsible solutions to that young man. The ears I was listening with, these little ass ears I got those from my father. He got little ears like that. These big ass lips, I got from my mother. So I didn't even give this and this to myself. I got my mother's lips, my father's ears. You see what I'm saying? So who am I to say no? When they gave them to me, you know, they gave them to me willingly. So I'm going to give my same gifts and tools to someone else willingly. Man, that's how the healing flows. That's how love flows, man. If you want more love, you got to give more love, man. You dig? What I don't want to say. They say you need a Reiki iconic iconic chakra colonic to get past your breakup with your abusive mate, and it will cost $4,000 to start and $15 to finish. Man, that's about spot on. That's about spot on. And then all you have to do, yeah, but you look like a lion. You must be somebody who knows me from because that's my old nickname. Everybody says I used to look like a lion when I had my locks. But I might have to remember that user handle. You might be someone I know from the old days. But yeah, Anwar, that's what they do. But the only question you gotta ask them is like, are you over to break up with your mate? Do you have a mate? No. How you got all this magic and all this power, can't get yourself a girlfriend? Can't get yourself a boyfriend? You got all this magic though, but you can't seem to find yourself a mate? You can't conjure yourself up a mate? Yo, back in the days, there was this priest I knew. I used to rock with sometimes. Brazilian dude, right? Big old homo. Right? He was a flaming, raging homosexual. Right? Old dude, man. He was like, I want to say mid-80s. Mid to early 80s, maybe. It's hard to kind of tell because he used to wear makeup. But when it came to the sciences, he was nice. He was nice with it. You know? And every time I used to go check him, because at first I didn't know I knew he was flamey, but I didn't know he was as zesty as he was. So I remember, you know, one of my elders used to laugh. They used to laugh. And every time I say I was going over, they'd laugh. They'd be like, oh, you going over to Baba's son? I'm not going to say his name. You going to Baba? And I'd be like, what y'all laughing at? What? Until one day I caught it I'm like, huh. So, but this is the thing, right? He had this lover, this young lover. Dude was maybe tops 30, 31, if that. And he was actually a soap opera star in Brazil. Like he was famous, he was known. This was this old flamer's lover. And I remember joking with him one day, and I was like, yo, how you get him? Right? And he was like, you know how I got him. You know? So, like, yeah. You know, you did some work. This dude was like, honestly, he was like zombified. To keep it a buck. He was like zombified. But, that was his... I don't even want to picture it, because it's just... Ugh. Like I said, he was like in his 80s, man. Flaming like a mudsucker. But he was nice with... What I used to learn a lot of him was like a lot of different... He knew a lot about different fetishes. Like, a lot of times I would go to shrines and I would see different fetishes and different tools, and I didn't totally know what they were for, but I was just used to seeing them. And he used to be able to break all that, like, oh, we use this plant for that, and we use this for that, and then you mix it with this stone, and you rub it together, and you got to blow on it, and then you put it out to 3 o'clock. Like, he had all that down. So that's what I used to get from him, right? And but yeah, like I said, man, he come in and be small like perfume and face dripping with makeup and stuff. I ain't into all of that, But what I'm saying is that if you're that nice with your spiritual work, why can't you get the basics? Unless you're not that nice. Maybe that's what it is. You're lying. You've been lying all this time. So sometimes y'all gotta learn to look at the basics, man. A person can't take you anywhere who's never been anywhere. They can only take you to their ceiling. And in order to reach beyond, just like I said, that last live, you know how much game was in that live? KLLM Trucking. He gave you even the numbers. He was like, yeah, I make this and I make that. And then he was like, I didn't mean to. What am I doing? Don't touch nothing. Omar says, can you define your use of fetishes in regard to altitude? Hell no. I ain't telling out no Instagram live. You know how much game I already give up, Anwar? I ain't giving up that much game anymore. I made a new decision. I got a new... That white girl look like the white girl from Hustle and Flow. The one that was like, I can do things too. I want something I can do. That's her right there. From Orange is the New Black. But, nah, man. I got a new podcast I'm working on, though, that's strictly for Arisha. Actually, I should have done a couple episodes already. It's just that I've been on the road for a while now. And I'm going to be teaching some stuff, but eventually I'm going to make the podcast private. And it's going to be for certain people, but nah, I ain't giving all that up, man. You know what people need to learn about before they learn how to use fetishes? Learn how to say please and thank you. That will get you so much further. Yeah, that's that Hustle and Flow chick. She got hand tattoos. Yeah, she out here getting it. Leaning into a car. But yeah, man. People don't understand. There's so much of that stuff that doesn't work when you don't have the right character. There's so much that does not work if your character is not correct, man. If you don't know how to approach a human, how do you know how to approach a spirit? And why would a spirit want to rock with you? Everything is engaged by protocol. Everything is engaged by protocol. Even when you eat your food, you have to engage a protocol with it to activate the best out of it. When you use herbs, you have to activate your herbs, right? You can't just go to a botanica, buy a bag of herbs, and then dump them into some water, and now you got Umiero. A lot of people don't even know that. You got to activate the herbs first, right? So there's a protocol that activates every experience in life. So a lot of times when people are talking about rituals and stuff, I'll pull back and be like, nah, I ain't telling you that. Now I would tell you on the side, I'm gonna keep it a buck, but I'm not giving that to this. Nah, hell no. That's what's caused a lot of disrespect in the community, because people don't realize how special certain people are. I'm special. You ain't gonna get too many like me. So as a result, I can't just give everything away like that, because I'll end up getting misused. Look what happened to Tupac. Same thing happened to Tupac. Was special. He just gave it all away, hung around with lowlifes, and died like a lowlife. Nah, we gotta protect those who are special and precious, man. Somebody bringing something precious, man, then you earn these jewels. And I'm not getting on you, Anwar. Like I said, I would tell you on the side because you put in work. I ain't worried about you. But there's a lot of people who tune into these lives that don't put in any work. And at the end of the day, they're a-holes. They're disrespectful. They have no manners. They don't help anybody. Then it's a give and take cycle. That's how things are given. Now, presence is something different. Like when I was with that young man earlier, I wasn't dropping no heavy jewels on him. I was throwing little suggestions here and there. But that's it. But he also gave an offering. As soon as he came in, what did he do? He started teaching. He was like, oh, the bluegill fish is this, and butterflies live near that because of this, that. He was giving. So what did he get? He got because he gave. All right, I'm out. Look, man, I'm already three hours off my schedule, and now about 4 hours off my schedule. So I'm going to be pulling in to the station real late, all right? But I just wanted to share that about that live, man. All right, and y'all be safe today, man. Have a good day and help somebody else out, man. The day ain't over. Do something nice for someone. All right, I'm telling you, you'll feel better about yourself. Peace.